Hi guys, I just want to warn you real quick that what you're about to see is real footage from inside my apartment, and I apologize in advance. Oh my gosh. Alright, so this is a storage closet that we have all kinds of things in it. I don't know if you can see, there's luggage, there's an actual bicycle in here, workout balls, chalkboards, lots of stuffed animals, tons of stuffed animals, wall art. There's even like magazines down there, you just can't see them. There's a stroller in there. Yeah, we're about to do some real talk, guys. So as you may have guessed, today's video is on clutter, disorganization, anxiety that's related to that comes from that. I want you to know that if you have anxiety when it comes to messes and things like that, you're not alone at all. It's very, very common. I read an article the other day actually about how for some people, it's for most of us that are prone to anxiety anyway, being in a cluttered space or like a hoarder's house or standing there looking at that closet gives us anxiety. And I'm one of those people. I have been called a minimalist before because I like to keep things clean. I like to keep them organized. Things are lined up, things are stacked up, like whatever I need to do. I don't like a lot of papers in my house. I don't like a lot of boxes. So yesterday I started tackling this problem that we have in this apartment with these really, really disorganized closets. There are two main ones. That is a really big one. Yesterday I started on the small one because it's my son's, they share that space. And it's the one, honestly, I was dreading the most because of the contents. It's mostly papers and baby clothes and things that I knew would take a long time to wade through. So I've just been putting it off. But I have this habit of like complaining about the clutter and looking in that closet and just being like super disgusted, and it was affecting my mood, and it was making me say things I shouldn't say, like, you know, I feel like we live in a trailer, and like, no offense to anybody that lives in a trailer, it's just my bad attitude, it's my poor choice of words, and just instead of doing anything about it, and I knew that it caused me anxiety, and I'm telling the people around me this causes me anxiety, I guess I just wanted them to fix it for me. It would have been better for me to do it myself, and I'm glad that I started it yesterday, but I still have this big closet to do, and I don't know that I'll get that done this week, but I'm going to try. So clutter and anxiety, you're not making it up. It's not all in your head. We like, as human beings, most of us like to have an order of things. We like, especially those of us who have anxiety, like to have a plan. We like for things to be in their place. What's that old, I'm losing my words today. A place for everything and everything in its place. Right? That's how I am. I used to be so bad that like everything in my closet was organized from like tank tops all the way to long dresses, and I don't have that anymore exactly like that, but I do still like for things to be neat. I like to be able to see my shoes in the closet. I don't like for everything to just be a mess because it affects my mind. It feels like a mess in my mind, and I think that's the way that I can explain it to you and to other people if you don't have anxiety or you don't have this, is that when something is cluttered, when something is really messy, and this is a challenge because I do have young kids, but when something is really messy, it almost feels like I can't think clearly. Those two things I know don't sound like they should be related, but it's kind of, what I relate it to is when you turn down the radio in the car so you can see something better. So like if you're looking at the address on a house, you turn the radio down, like that's gonna help you like see better, but I really think it's more about the focus and the concentration. For me, a mess in the house and the clutter in the house completely affects my focus, my concentration, and my ability to keep my vibration high and my mood good. So I don't like messes. I spend a little bit of time every single morning cleaning my kitchen, putting some laundry in, as I think most moms do. There are certain things that are done every day before I leave the house, especially making the bed, because that's a big one for me. I like for my room to be neat and clean, clothes are put away, nothing hanging out of anything, change the trash cans in the house a few times a week, just so that there's not an overwhelm of clutter. Now, to reiterate, we do live in a somewhat small space. So clutter right now becomes an issue at the holidays because we may have people over, we may have people staying with us, and the only thing you can really do in a box like this is kind of stack things up against the wall, because you still have to have people walking through, and there's still kids playing and things going on. So this is a challenging time for me. So if it's a challenging time for you, I just want to give you a couple of tips on how to deal with clutter. My first tip is to get some organizers. This seems like the most obvious thing, but for me, I wasn't doing it. So I went out and got some Rubbermaid boxes that I could put all of our files, tax papers, things like that. I have this thing where I just know that the day that I shred our old driver's license photos or whatever's in the filing cabinet is going to be the day that we get audited by the IRS, and I want to be able to show that I paid my rent for the last 9 years or whatever it is. So I'm not good at throwing those things away because they're records and they're official and I might need them. So I did go get some Rubbermaid boxes and some places to put all of my papers. I have one small metal filing cabinet and I was trying to get everything to fit in it and it just doesn't. And so then after that I just started stacking papers on top of it, and the paper stack was getting taller and taller and taller, and it would fall over and I would get mad, but I wouldn't fix it. I was just putting the papers back on top of the pile and being like, nobody knock the papers down, because I can't handle it. So a better tip is to get some boxes and organize that stuff. I also bought some vacuum bags. That's me vacuuming, I guess is what that is. Yeah. So some vacuum bags to put, I have my baby clothes and I have my kids' baby clothes. And so I tried out these Ziploc vacuum bags. They're pretty cool. I don't know if I love them for the long term, but for right now, they will do. They're not terrible, so we're gonna keep them. So you stack sweaters or whatever it is that you have to store. For me, it was a lot of baby clothes. A lot of it was sweaters and long sleeves and stuff. You just fold it and put it in the bag. These are really big rectangular bags, and then you seal it. It's got like a giant Ziploc sealer on the top of it. You love my vocabulary today. I'm pulling out all the really impressive words. Just stick with me, okay? So you seal it, and then the top of the bag has a little opening, and you open it and you put the wand. That's why I did this with the vacuuming. You put the wand of the vacuum onto the circular opening in the bag, and then you turn the vacuum on and it just sucks all the air out, and it's really cool to watch it. It only takes like 10 seconds to get all the air out, and then you have this in theory very flat, easy to store bag that's also a space saver, which is important for me. Now I say in theory because for me the bag came out, both of the bags came out like super lumpy and weird, and also they're very, very heavy because I stuffed them really full of clothing. But I'm getting the hang of it and I'm trying to organize. So that's my first tip, is to get some organizing tools. If you like those things that hang on the back of the door, you can put toiletries in there, you can put shoes in there, you can put, if you have kids who are in sports like mine, you can put karate belts in there. There are some really interesting ideas on Pinterest, even on Google, Good Housekeeping, magazines like that, on how to stay organized in small spaces. Another tip is to clean things out. I give things to Goodwill once a month. It's just something I've done for many, many years, and I try to stay faithful to my once a month donation to Goodwill. And I happen to think that getting rid of old things allows space for the new things to come in as well. So it's just a good habit to get into. And also you're sharing things with other people. Like these are things that brought you joy or brought your kids joy, and now nobody's using them anymore. So when you're putting them out there for somebody else to use, I feel like that's really good karma, because there's a kid out there that really wants to play with that thing that your kid doesn't play with anymore. So Goodwill, Salvation Army is another good one. Give it to the neighbors. If you have friends who have kids that are younger than yours, especially if it's books or toys, offer them first, especially if they're in really good condition. Okay, so storage containers, places like Goodwill. And then my last tip is you're gonna roll your eyes at me. It's gonna seem like not a tip, but my last tip for being organized and getting rid of the clutter is to, okay, sorry guys, my phone died, so I had to plug it in and then get it going again. So my last tip for helping with the clutter in your house is really a preemptive strike on the clutter, on the mess, and that is to be aware of what you're bringing into your house. Don't buy things if you don't absolutely love them. This is a rule that I have implemented with myself because I used to be such a shopaholic. This is something that I have done for myself and with myself over the last couple of years. If I don't absolutely love something, I don't buy it. It doesn't matter if it's shoes or a candle. I don't really wear perfume, but an item for the house, whatever it is. If I don't pick up the item, and it's kind of like Marie Kondo on the Netflix, if you're familiar with her at all, if it doesn't spark joy in me, if it's not something I don't feel like I would really regret not having it, I just don't buy it. And that way I'm bringing a lot less into the house that I'm just going to end up putting out the next month with the Goodwill stuff anyway. Books, I still have a bit of an issue, but I do try to give those to the local library or offer them to other people when I'm done reading them, unless they're just books that I just really want to have and keep. Books are my thing. I will happily get rid of other items in order to have more books in my apartment. So if you have something like that, it's just like your favorite thing. I'm not asking you not to have that anymore, but maybe make some space in other areas that are not as meaningful to you. So I hope this has helped you. If you have anxiety that is centered around clutter, around messes and papers and things like that, I just encourage you to tackle that head on. You will feel so good that you did. It won't take as much time as you think, and you will be able to breathe a lot more easily when you walk into a space and it feels comfortable for you again. This is something that I know because this is what happens to me. I put it off for so long, and this closet is going to get done before Thanksgiving. Like, I have decided while I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to take care of that mess, and yes, I will do an update video on the closet clutter because that was so bad. I can't believe I even shared that with you. I hope it didn't frighten you. I hope it made you feel better about the mess, whatever your mess is in your home. But I'm going to go ahead and tackle that because I know the feeling of having things in their place and being able to walk into a space and feeling comfortable. And also as a mother and a wife, I don't get a lot of time to myself. So it's a bad feeling to walk into my bedroom or sit down in my comfy chair at night and know that I still have things left to do. Now, part of that you always will have because you have the next day, but what I mean is to know that this closet still needs to get organized, for example. I will relax more and sleep better knowing that these closets are taken care of, and I know that about myself. So if you are like this, I encourage you, follow these tips, give me some of your tips because Lord knows I could certainly use them. Live in courage, and I love you so much. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and share and subscribe and tell your friends about this channel if you think that they will find some value in it. I love you so much. Bye-bye.